Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go pretty quick today because I want to look at monthly charts along with the regulars so we can figure out whether or not that can give us any sort of advantage in looking at the bigger picture. All right, ready? Whoop. Okay. All right, let's start off by looking at ES or SPX weekly futures. You can see that last month we closed right on the top of the channel. I mean, the month before last, we closed right on the top of the channel. And then this past month, we broke the F out of the monthly channel. And there was hardly any tail on that candle. I had to zoom the F in to see whether or not there was actually a tail. And there was, but I mean, can you imagine just going long from that month, putting in like a silly little, can you imagine? I didn't do that, but I'm just saying, like, wow, that's a big deal. So anyway, pretty much from the monthly chart, I have a measured move here from this channel break of 4692-ish, okay? I mean, you know, whatever. If it continues forward and does not fall below 4037, which would be super-duper bearish, that would be the measured move from a monthly basis. Now, generally speaking though, when you do see candles like this with hardly any tail on them and the wick pretty tiny, generally speaking, you will see at least some upward thrust in that next candle. So not always, you know, you can see something like here. That wasn't, you know, that was pretty similar, right? There was hardly any tail on it, hardly any wick. So not always. So, you know, keep that in mind. I almost took one of these lines and moved it over, but I was like, nope, don't want to do that. I want to wait until we're below 4037 before I smack that line on there, because right now it can still go up, and maybe it will. Here's the measured move. From an RSI perspective, it's you know, it's getting up there, but you know, this is turbo zone, and we're not at RSI resistance as of yet. So there's still a lot of room to run. Potentially a back test here, which I think should at least initially try to get bought if it does go down there. Okay, now let's look at the weekly. So just a couple of weeks of really not a lot of movement. Look how tiny those candles are. And we still have not been able to close above this measured move, the previous measured move of 4183.11. If it does close above that line, I'd look for it to go up here to this Living with Chemistry line at 4380, but we just still haven't quite gotten there. And then this week, what I'm hoping holds, if it does go down, is 4133. That would be the top of the channel. If it gets below there, it's going to start to look a little bit bearish, at least down to this next channel line. So we'll see. I mean, tight ranges, pretty much a lot of volatility. You could play it either way, and if you had patience enough, probably be okay. But definitely just chop, 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 chop. So let's look at the daily. You know, same thing here. It was a similar measured move within 5 points, and while we did close above it barely, we just have not been able to break out of this next line. So, you know, is this a fakey breaky? It's hard to say. Normally, I'd lean short. I do have a UVixie position that I already took half profit on just to, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I do that. It's dangerous. Don't do that at home, kids. But generally speaking, you know, as long as it closes above this 4178 line, it's fine. If it starts to get above this 4191 level again, I think that odds are very high that it'll break the F out. So it doesn't look bearish right here. The RSI did bounce off of support ever so briefly on Friday. So, you know, I don't know. And I was actually, let me just go to Nasdaq, but I was looking at some other people's feeds, and, you know, every day they just, I mean, they churn those trades out. They really do. And I give them all the respect in the world. But to tell you the truth, if I don't have an edge on something, if I don't know where it's going, I'm just not going to say anything because I don't know. And I don't want to just say something to say something. I only say something when I think it's high probability. So generally speaking, that's the tweets that you'll see from me in terms of at least direction and what I'm doing. Anyway, this is Nasdaq Monthly. And we have not been able to close above this channel as of yet, but we did last month, barely. Now I was looking here, you know, my lines are kind of interesting lines, right? I know they're not like everybody else's. I don't care. But generally speaking, this last time I had this line in here, it wasn't that the next time the algos got to it, it was like, oh, let me just bounce off of it. It was more like, this is volatility time. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing. I think we're seeing more volatility here. But generally speaking, from a monthly perspective, above 13,791, bullish. I'm not going to put in that measured move yet because it's really high. I'm going to wait until we get another close above here. But anyway, if we close above 13,791 next month, then that will be uber bullish. And below, not so much. Okay, let's look at the weekly. So, you know, I like this slope a lot, and we finally have some downward activity, but it's really not anything to write home about. It's more like consolidation under resistance as of now. It's just we haven't, you know, as much intraday volatility as we've gotten, we haven't gotten a lot of range, if that makes sense. It's chopping. It's just chopping. So above 13,994, good, to this measured move, I believe, of 15,209. But below, bad. Now, I generally don't, I was looking at this earlier. This does not look particularly toppy to me right now. Can it correct? Sure. But I wouldn't say we've reached the top of the top. I just wouldn't. I might be wrong. I just wouldn't say that. I think any dips should be bought. So especially if we, you know, take a quick dive, I'd be more than willing to buy that dip. I would try here because, I mean, it's not quite, it's not looking like a double top. It's higher high. It looks still very okay to me. Bigger picture. Let's look at the daily. So daily is confusing. Oh, I forgot to bring up the Tesla chart. Okay. Anyway, daily is confusing. I'll post it on Twitter. Because I was very like, well, above the flag bullish, below the flag bearish, but it kept on back testing the freaking top of the flag. Back test, okay, bullish, but nope, gonna back test again, nope, gonna back test again. So for Monday, what I'm watching is 13,805. Below that, I think it's going to probably come all the way down to this last breakout level, which was 13,592. I do. I think there's a high probability, I think, that if it spends more than a few hours down there, it's going to fakey breaky all the way at least down here to 13,592, and we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, above, let me put this down here. Above 13880, I think high probability going to this, again, measured move 14134. Okay, now let's go look at gold. Gold. Oh boy, another back test of this line. What? I'm mad. I'm mad about that. I'm not happy at all. I was hoping that we would have back tested and go. So, you know, there's this setting sun formation here, potentially, but so I think the best case scenario is to not see it come back down here to this 1747, which would be another back test of the line. I don't want to see that. I really don't. Now, it might line up with this MA, so maybe it's very supportive, but because it does look to me, and I pointed this out last week, it does look to me a little bit like bear flaggy. I thought it had gotten out of the range of being a bear flag, but that might have been wishful thinking. Let me draw in something right now. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, see, I don't I mean, it's not perfectly lined up because I don't know how to use trading view that well. But anyway, yeah. Oh, see, it really, last week, I mean, I don't want it to do this because that could potentially be another leg down, which I don't want to have happen personally because I'm long. But anyway, I mean, I can switch, I can flip. Whew. Anyway, what we're looking for here for it to be, the good news is we're starting to see the MAs curl up. That's good news. The bad news is we're only over one of them and below two of them on a weekly basis. On a 4-hour basis, or again above one of them, below two of them. On a 1-hour basis, it gave us that little hope candle at the end of the day. Above two of them, below one of them. Ugh. We'll have to see. I'm not going to start being gold bug completely unless it closes above this 1788 on a weekly basis. Then it'll start to look much better than it does now. If it gets below this 1747, no, oops, nope. Uh-oh. All right, let's look at silver. I mean, same deal here. I mean, I guess it's sort of bear flaggy. From a silver perspective, I added a line here. I took the same slope and moved it over here, just so we'd have something. 25.605 or so is where I'd like to see it not get below, but definitively 25.395. It's like, please hold. Don't go there. Just do the thing where you go up, and it's not bullish really, like confirmation wise, until it's 26.94. Still, it's not. It's still. Now, I mean, we just have an inside candle week to week though, so even though that looks kind of like a crap candle, it's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Just a lot of chop. Still, no decision. Let's look at GDX. Very disappointing. Same thing. Well, we got that pullback we were looking for, and it didn't get all the way to this line, so that's good. But very little wick on the top end, very little wick on the bottom end, just a solid week of wah, which is no bueno. However, it is still a back test right now at this time. So below 33.88, extremely no bueno. The best thing I could think of that would happen for bulls this week for GDX would be a little tiny, like a cross doji, little, like a little opposite of this, little kind of cross doji, and then the next week, whoop. I've seen that happen before, where you have sort of that setting sun thing happening, and then it does another little, ha, fooled you, and did a little cross thingy, closed maybe right on this MA that's supportive, and then whoop, the next week. That would be the very best scenario. Otherwise, starting to look bear flaggy if it doesn't just hold this line this week, right? Can you see that? Like, pull. This is a very, very critical week. Not that it has to go way up, it just has to hold. If it doesn't hold, then we've got that situation. That's a big situation, because I don't think, I could be wrong, but if it gets to 31.27 again, I don't think it's going to hold. I don't. Let's look at oil. Okay, so last week I had said that one trade that, one trade idea was to just buy this XOP, which is the basket of equities around oil and gas, and then let it go if it gets below this key, and otherwise let it ride. And so that was a really good trade. Now, it did bounce down from this MA, but it's flagging. It's still in a bull flag. If it gets below this 72.09 level again, though, nope, I don't think so. But oil looks right now like potentially it can continue its rise. I mean, it's still very bullish anywhere above. It can still back test 57.82 and be very bullish. It's just a uptrend. Look, up, or up. it can actually flag from here and go down. So it's fine. But let's look at XOP for clues. Let's hope it holds above 72.09. Okay, let's look at Natty. Oh boy, I was long Natty this week. I mean, this past week. Not as long as I was. I said, of course, and then of course it breaks the F out. Of course it does. Of course. Anyway, we did leave a gap on the contract rollover, and I did, I wouldn't say it was a thorough examination. I probably spent about 10 minutes looking and just trying to find gaps in the past and how they held and how they fast. Anyway, or how soon they filled. Blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so I think this week, if you are bullish Natty, we need to watch this gap fill at around the 2.875 level or so. And hopefully, if it hits there, it will just continue its momentum up. Because once Natty starts going down, it likes to keep going down. But, you know, it also likes to... Anyway, this looks like, from a weekly perspective, it looks like a breakout. It's not that terrible looking candle that we had before. It looks actually pretty positive. I am still long. Yep, because it closed above this martini level, and because I think potentially it's got some catching up to do with all of the other commodities. It really hasn't done anything. Now, let's look at Joe Coffee. This is something where, you know, I had said that if it gets above this airplane level, like, I would start yelling at people to buy it. And it did it like Monday. It was like, it started breaking the F out early in the week. It kind of, then on Thursday, I think it was, it came back down. It was like sitting right at this level. And then it just pooped on Friday. And I was looking at coffee before because I felt like it was leading gold a little bit, leading what the gold was doing. So, I mean, all these commodities sort of move together, but they all kind of, I mean, I can't say that one leads the other. It might lead it one week and then not lead it the next week, which is why I try not too much, to not put too much stock in those things. But anyway, I'm just going to keep holding it, even though it was a really crap candle. I do like, I do like the fact that it has continued going up. And I was looking before, and I was trying to see, has it tried any shenanigans like that before, where it sort of had a doji and then kind of gone up, and yeah, I mean, it has, right? This was a really crap looking candle, and then it bounced off of this next support and then just continued going up. So actually, let me do that. Let me take the same slope where this has happened before, move it over. Okay. So this week, look at that, right? I should have put the stop down all the way to the key, by the way, because I do believe in this trade long term. But anyway, okay, let me move that up a little bit. I don't know why it doesn't, like, I've got this magnet on. Why doesn't it snap it to this line? I don't know why. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let me just mark that. I don't want it to go all the way down there, but I think it'd be all right. I do. Still above the key. Anyway, I am continuing to hold it, and we shall see what happens. Hopefully it'll gap up, back test, and go whoop. That would be my hope, but then that is a hope, so I don't know. I mean, I'm still in good shape overall with all the other trades, and I'm still green, but I just wanted it. Come on, do the thing. But you know what? It's a breakout like this is hard, and generally speaking, when you do have a head and shoulders like this, you will get some pushback. It's just that I would have wanted the pushback without it breaking out first, so it didn't look like fakey breaky. Okay, that's it. All right, make myself big. Okay. All right. Thank you again so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos, and I will see you on the interwebs. Okay, bye.